Hey, bro. So, the last time that I have met with a friend of mine, very dear friend of mine, not the same guy that I was talking about in the last video, it's another one. Um, the last time I met this guy, uh, we had a very, very, very interesting discussion on basically, you know what, like everything, like success, you name it, success, girls, relationships, studies, sports, just pretty much everything. We covered everything. We've been talking for hours. And there was this one very, very interesting theme that we were talking about, this one very interesting thing that we just noticed about ourselves. And it just boils down to the one thing that it's very simple. We want things. We want something, right? We want something out of life. You and I, we both want something out of life. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, wanting to get something out of life is pretty much one of the reasons as to why we are doing self-motivation, self-improvement, because obviously we want to get more out of life, right? So this is the one thing. You and I, we all want things out of life. And that's perfectly fine and that's great. And whatever it may be, right? I mean, let's just go down the material route. Let's say that you want to have a penthouse and you want to drive a Ferrari. Perfectly fine. Let's say you want to look a certain way. Perfectly fine. Again, brilliant. Let's say you want to have a certain person as your spouse, as your wife or husband, whatever you're into. But very simply put, we want things out of life. And that's fine. That's important. And we need it, right? We need something that gives us that just gives us a sort of drive in life. But the big problem that we have in our generation, we didn't really know whether the last generations were affected by this as much as we were, but we are definitely affected by it. And that would be that we were told, not by parents, not by teachers, but we were told by movies, by social media, and by series, which we all consume, let's be honest. We all consume some of it, right? We were told that success is very much possible, right? Success is absolutely possible, and it's possible fast. Just take a brief moment to think about how often you have, this typically stereotypical movie in which, I don't know, the guy's a brokey and then 10 minutes later, in the movie obviously, 10 minutes later he is a multi-millionaire who runs a massive company and whatever. We all know that, right? We all know that. Now, of course, you and I, we're not dumb, right? I hope so. Of course, you and I understand that this is only fiction, right? Of course, it could never show the entire time that was spent in between brokey and successful. But that's one thing, right? We see that. And we see that a lot in series, in movies, whatever. And then we have another thing, which is social media, which is, in my opinion, even more extreme. Because on social media, you constantly see these new people pop up that were, I don't know, they were broke 5 months ago. And now they're millionaires having built their online business and stuff like that. And first of all, it's possible. Sure, no doubt, absolutely, it's possible. Secondly, props to them. If they truly made it, if they're not lying, if they're not just selling shit, then yes, congratulations, incredible, amazing. But the only reason as to why you and I find it interesting is because it's not the ordinary, it is extraordinary. Fast success has been shoved down our throat for years on end. And of course, there's some part in us that realizes that, yeah, it's fictional, it's staged, it's not true. And of course, they are not possible to show all of the turmoils and struggles that these people had to go through in order to get where they are in life. But nevertheless, we are not able to filter everything. We're just not able to filter everything. So if you are being bombarded with something constantly over and over and over again, of course you start to buy into it. Of course you start to believe that that's actually possible. And not only that it's possible, but at some point it becomes normal. And this is a problem. That our generation thinks that success is normal and fast success is something that anyone can achieve. While in actuality, in reality, it's something incredibly rare, and that's the only reason as to why it's so interesting to us. Because it's not common, because it doesn't happen all the time, but because of social media, we get to see it more often. So, what's the problem really? What is the problem? Because of course we could say, yeah, well, but right, that's just how things are, right? Let's just be fine with it. It's okay, we're being bombarded with it, whatever, right? But the fact is that we all consume these things in some way or another, and we all tend to buy into this idea in some certain way. But the conclusion that the friend and I got to was very simple, and that is just that, of course, success is possible. No one denies that. But good things that last take time to build. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's true. It's just true. The Roman Empire wasn't built in a day. It was molded within centuries of strife, struggle, war, competition, and just everything that forces you to grow. This is what enabled the Roman Empire to become the Roman Empire. Struggle, strife, war, and just pushing and constantly pushing. Of course, there were people who had dreams back then in the Roman Empire. Of course, people wanted it to become greater. But it didn't happen overnight. It took them centuries to become a powerhouse. It took them centuries to become an empire. And it took centuries for it to fall down again. So good things that last take time. So what is it that you and I need to find again? What is it that you and I need to train ourselves in again? Patience. We need to be patient. We need to accept that yes, everything that we want in life is attainable. But it just won't happen now. And by the way, I personally think that if the incredibly outrageous thing would happen, that everything that you want in life occurs to you now, that you get it all now, I'm 100% sure that you will not be fulfilled, because it's actually not getting the thing that you want, but the path towards it that makes you feel like you deserve what you get at the end. We need to be patient. We need to understand that the success that we are being shown physically, mentally, in terms of money, whatever, of course it might be real, but they don't show how long it took them. They don't show how hard it was to get there. So we have to realize that yes, it's possible, but only if you stay patient, if you keep pushing relentless of what happens to you, whatever comes your way, you just keep pushing and you stay patient even if things don't work out. That's how great things are being built. That's how things are being built. And yes, it's good to be motivated. It's great to say, yeah, but I want to live a good life when I'm young. I want to achieve a lot of things when I'm young so that I may have them for a longer amount of time. Absolutely. I'm on the same page with you with that. We're on the same page, yeah. But still, the reality is that it still might take us longer than we initially thought to get to where we want to get. Doesn't mean that we won't get there. It's just that it might take longer, and we need to learn to be patient again. Now, how can you learn that? Again, working out, doing sports. If you have a goal in sports, you will very, very, very rapidly realize that it just won't happen overnight and that you have to put in work and that you have to be patient with it. So I think that's it, guys. I think that I made it abundantly clear what the problem is. You and I just need to be more patient, guys, right? Okay, bro. I hope this message reaches you. I hope I was able to bring that point across, and we'll see it in. You see, guys, I'm losing my English. We'll see us in the next one. Bye. Mwah.